Hello there and welcome back to my channel, or of course welcome to my channel if you're new. If you are new, then hello, lovely to meet you. My name is Alex, and if you are new here, make sure you stick around and subscribe. If you're not new and you've been here for a while, then why not make sure that notification bell is switched on just so you're notified of every single time that I upload. Now for today's video, I have a super exciting one because I am going to be doing another dupes video. Now W7 are known for bringing out dupe palettes, and they have done it yet again. I have actually been meaning to do the Anastasia Beverly Hills Primrose dupe palette video, but I have not got around to doing that. This one is super new, so I thought I would do this first and I can visit the Primrose one afterwards. But W7 have just released a new palette called My Atlantis. It looks like this, and the inside is super pinky neutral, and it has that weird shadow. It's not really a shadow, is it? It's like a gel sort of shade with some shimmer pigment in it. And if you are a Huda Beauty fan like myself, you know that this is quite clearly duping the Rose Quartz palette that she brought out last year, which is what I have right here. This is just a reminder of the Huda Beauty one if you've not seen it before. This is the packaging, and then the inside, as you can see, is looking exactly the same. So I'm gonna do some swatches. I'm gonna put one palette on one eye, one palette on the other, and we're gonna see if the W7 one is a really good dupe of this palette. Okay, firstly, I'm just gonna show you them like this, side by side, so you can truly see how similar and how identical they do look. The one obvious difference between these two palettes is the price tag. Huda Beauty is around £56, or I think it is exactly £56. The W7 one is £9.95, and I do actually have a discount code with W7, so you can get 10% off this. I think it's ALEXKATE10, it's in the description box and on the screen if I have got that wrong. But yeah, this is literally a fraction of the price of the Huda Beauty. I think firstly it's probably best to do the swatches just to see how similar the shades actually are between W7 and Huda, and then we can get on into my eye looks. I'm going to be standing up because it's so awkward how I swatch these down my arm. So basically these are what the swatches look like. On the bottom is Huda Beauty and the top is W7. So if I just show you here at the top half of the palette, there's definitely a colour difference between these two, but I think the vast majority of them do look very similar. Another obvious difference is the jelly sort of shade. It's a lot more pink on W7, where it's very clear on Huda Beauty and has like a lot more like rainbow specks in it. But I think the vast majority of the shades do look very similar, like especially on like the same sort of similar tone. I have noticed that Huda Beauty is quite obviously the better quality shadows, especially the shimmers. You can tell a very clear difference which is the high end and which is the drugstore. But looking at them, I do think the shades are quite similar. I think these two pinks are a little different, as you can tell in the tones. But I think they have got it so it does look quite similar. Like this one, like see how the W7 like just barely even shows, whereas Huda Beauty is. Yeah, I think the vast majority of it does look quite nice and similar to the Huda Beauty. There's just an obvious difference of quality, and a few tones of certain shades are different to Huda, but I think they've done a relatively good job at getting the shadows to look quite similar. Okay, so I've just popped some eye primer on. I did actually put the W7 one on. I don't have a Huda Beauty one. I don't think they have one. But I do want to put the same primer on both sides just so it doesn't mess with the formula. So I think I'm gonna do it like this. So W7 on my left eye, Huda Beauty on the right. And I think what's best is applying Huda Beauty first and then seeing how W7 applies. I'm not going to do one eye then the other. I think I am going to work through both eyes at the same time just so we can see the step-by-step process using both palettes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the shade Serenity from the Huda Beauty palette, and I'm going to pop that in my crease. I'm going to keep today's look super simple, just so it's not too overcomplicated and we can't tell the difference between the shades. Perfect. And I have got one of these little shades, what's it called? Oh, a colour switch by Real Technique. So I am going to use the same brush for both sides, but I am dipping my brush into the little colour switch, so when you take it off there's like basically no pigment left on there that will apply on my eye. So then from the W7 palette I'm going to take the shade Eden, which is this one down here. I'm just going to do the exact same thing. So yeah, this is why I wanted to do it one step at a time, because as you can see, there is a little colour difference between the two. This is definitely a lot more purpley than what the W7 one is. Okay, next I'm going to take Happiness from the Huda Beauty palette. My one's got this like dry mark in the middle of it. I don't know how, I'll see how it's going to perform, but I'm going to take a little bit of Happiness and I'm going to blend out that shade Serenity. And I'm going to take the shade Cleto. Does that say? I can't tell what that says. Cleto, I think. And again, just going to do the exact same thing. So them two shades actually look quite similar, I'd say. I'd say they are definitely the same tone. And then I'm going to take the lightest pink in the palette from Huda, and I'm going to take the shade Cherished. And this is literally, it's not even going to show up much really, but I'm just using it to buff up, blend out the very top edge. Okay, well that literally took 2 seconds to blend. So again, colour switch, and then I'm going to take the shade Empire by W7. You can definitely tell a difference in quality where this blended literally like a dream and there's like not really any harsh lines, whereas this one you can definitely see the edges a little bit. So I'm just going back in with another shade just to blend. Okay, and then I'm going to take Aura from the Huda Beauty palette, which is a beautiful chocolate brown, and I'm going to pop a little bit in my inner and outer corner. And then from the W7 palette I'm going to take Speculate, which is this one here. And again, gonna do the same thing. And then from the W7 palette, I'm just gonna go back in with that pink. I'm just gonna blend out that brown a bit, because again, I don't know if it's probably because of the quality, but the lines were going a little bit harsh again, whereas this one kind of just seems to stay more blended. It definitely needs a little bit of blending, but not as much as this eye. Now time for the fun part. We are going to try a shimmer. So I'm definitely going to use the shade Moon Magic. It's my absolute favourite shade in the palette. Like, please just look at that. The Huda shimmers, you know, they are something else. I am going to use my finger as well because these are really soft and delicate, and can you see why I absolutely love this shade? And I'm just going to pop some in the middle. I've got a lot of fallout, by the way, so you're going to just have to ignore that. I'm next going to take the shade Utopia from W7. I really hope that this is good. I mean, you know, it's not as chunky as Huda, Wow, they are, they're pretty identical. And I've got barely any fallout from W7, but I've got quite a lot from Huda. That is interesting. Next, I'm going to take a little bit of Cosmic Love, and I'm just going to blend that kind of just like either edge of that blue. And then from W7, taking Poseidon, which is this top one up here. Okay, and then for the lower lash line, I'm just going to take the shade Gratitude, which is this one here. From W7, I'm going to take the shade Island. There is just a slight undertone difference in those shades, but I don't think you can tell that much, can you? So for my inner corner and brow bone, I'm going to take the shade Self Love from the Huda palette. And then from the W7 palette, I'm going to take the shade Lost. That W7 shimmer is definitely a lot more like squidgy and hard to apply with a brush, but I think they look quite similar. It was a lot easier to apply my brow bone on the Huda side than it was on the W7 side, but hey ho. Right, here are both of my eyes. This one is with the Huda palette and this one is with the W7. Which one do you prefer? I would love to know what you think about these two palettes, the swatches, the differences on the eyes. Let's have a discussion down below in the comments, because I'm not going to lie, I think W7 have smashed it yet again. But I'm just going to hop off camera, I'm going to apply some lipstick and some mascara, then I'll be right back and we can discuss my final thoughts. Okay, so I'm back. For my mascara, I used my Benefit, their Real Magnet Mascara, and then my lips are the Anastasia Beverly Hills lip liner in Parchment. Just a really beautiful brown colour. And then for my lipstick, I have one of the Colourpop and Nightmare Before Christmas lipstick. This is in the Oogie Boogie shade, this one here. I don't actually think you can buy this anymore, but it is a beautiful nude colour, as you can see. So this is me with the rest of my makeup on. Can you tell any difference? Because I feel like unless you were looking right up close, you wouldn't be able to tell, and even then I think it's hard to tell. Like, they look so similar. I just can't get over how similar they look. And even the shimmer, like on my lid, like, are you joking? The shimmer was where I was going to be, right, surely the W7 one's not going to look like the Huda, but it literally looks so similar. I'm actually in shock, like so similar. There were definitely a couple of tones different along the way, but once I've got my entire look on, you literally cannot tell. It does not look like I've got two different eyeshadow palettes on, and that is a good thing, because it does mean that the W7 My Atlantis is a very good dupe for the Huda Rose Quartz, which makes me so happy, because not everyone can afford high-end makeup or luxury makeup prices. I know some people are a bit funny about brands duping other brands, but as someone, you know, who grew up with not a lot of money and stuff, I just think it's great to see. And if you cannot afford Huda Beauty eyeshadow palettes, W7 have got your back, because even though the quality is very different, and that is one thing I will say in every single one of these dupes videos, there is definitely a difference with the quality of the product, as in the W7 shadows are a lot more powdery than Huda. Huda's a lot more smoother to blend. W7 you have to work a little bit harder with. The shimmers, if I'm honest, that blue one on my lid, the Huda one was really crumbly, the W7 was actually a lot more smoother, so there is like definitely not a consistent sort of thing with the quality difference. But just with the matte shades in particular and some of the shimmers, you can tell that Huda is a more expensive palette and W7 is the more affordable side. But that being said, I honestly feel like that does not take away the fact that my eyes literally look identical. So PSA, W7 by Atlantis is most definitely a dupe for Huda Rose Quartz. So if you can't get your hands on the Huda one, or you haven't got your hands on the Huda one, definitely check out the W7 one. Okay, so that was me swatching and comparing, duping the W7 by Atlantis and Huda Rose Quartz. Just a reminder, if you do want to pick up the W7 palette, because I mean, it is only £9.95, super affordable, then again I do have a discount code which will be down below, and I'll also link the palette down below as well if you do want to purchase. Okay, so I'm going to end this video here. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please let me know by smashing the thumbs up button. Comment down below which other dupe videos would you like to see from me. I would love to know, and of course if you haven't already, please subscribe down below, and I'll see you in my next video.